بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولما جهزهم بجهازهم قال ائتوني بأخ لكم من أبيكم ألا ترون أني أوفي الكيل وأنا خير المنزلين فإن لم تأتوني به فلا كيل لكم عندي ولا تقربون قالوا سنراود عنه أباه وإنا لفاعلون وقال لفتيانه اجعلوا بضاعتهم في رحالهم لعلهم يعرفونها إذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم لعلهم يرجعون صدق الله العظيم. Honorable brothers, respected young friends, last week we mentioned that the drought had set in and he went far and wide beyond the boundaries and borders of Egypt until he reached Canaan, where Yusuf Salam's family were residing. Yusuf Salam's brothers went to the father, or somehow Yaqub Salam got to know that in Egypt grains are being given at a very, very reasonable price. So he instructed his sons that go to Egypt and get the grains. The brothers went on a journey and they reached Egypt, and as soon as they entered, came in the presence of Yusuf salam. Yusuf salam instantly realized and recognized that these are my brothers. Yusuf salam was already anticipating them from before, that when the drought falls, then definitely my brothers will come to get some grain. So he was already anticipating them. Whereas on the other hand, the brothers had no thought whatsoever that the Aziz Misr, the person ruling Egypt, will be our brother. So anyway, as soon as they entered the court of Yusuf salam, Yusuf salam recognized them, whilst they did not recognize who Yusuf salam was. And just to understand things properly, and just to get a concrete proof, Yusuf salam asked some questions in a interrogative manner, as though they were suspicious of the brothers, just to get further insight and further knowledge of the brothers. So Yusuf salam asked them that you are speaking the Hebrew language, which is not the local language of Egypt. So that means you are not Egyptian. So where have you come from? So they said, we have come from Canaan. So Yusuf salam said, how do you know you have come for a good reason? What if you have come as spies? What if you are trying to infiltrate into our country? So they said, Ma'adallah, Allah forbid, we will never do this. Why would you not do this? Because we are from the household of Nubuwwat. Our father is a Nabi, Yaqub salam. And Yusuf asked more questions, how many brothers do you have? And he said 12. So Yusuf said, if you have 12 brothers, how come there's only 10 here? So he said, one of our brothers went to the jungle and we went in the jungle, went in the forest with him, and he got missing, he got lost there. And the other brother, since he was so beloved to us, to our father, our father does not let the other younger brother go out with us anymore. So anyway, Yusuf salam heard all this. After hearing all this and realizing that they are truly my brothers, he gave them the presidential protocol of guests. He hosted them in a very good manner. And then when the time was ready for them to leave, he said, وَلَمَّا جَهَّزُهُمْ بِجَهَازِهِمْ. And when he, Yusuf salam, prepared their provisions, وَلَمَّا جَهَّزَ يُجَاهِزُ means to prepare. When he prepared their provisions, he got all the grains ready. He must have told his attendants that there are 10 of them, get 10 common loads of grains ready. قَالَ ائْتُونِي بِأَخٍ لَكُم مِّنْ أَبِيكُمْ. He said to him, قَالَ ائْتُونِي, that bring your brother Yani Binyamin to me from your father, meaning your brother, that is your brother, step brother from your father, meaning you share the same father, Binyamin. So remember, as I mentioned before, Yusuf salam and Binyamin, their mothers were different to the mother of the other 10, but the father was the same. So bring your brother from your father, meaning the same brother from your father, your stepbrother, bring him to me. And then to persuade them and to encourage them to bring him. He said, أَلَا تَرَوْنَ أَنِّي أُوفِي الْكَيْلِ. Do you not see? Have you not noticed? Do you not see that I grant measure in full? وَأَنَا خَيْرُ الْمُنزِلِينَ. And I am the best of hosts. So after the conversation they had and after he hosted them, Yusuf ﷺ ordered his slaves or his servicemen that prepare 10 camel loads of food for them. But then just before they left, Yusuf ﷺ told them that, look, you have come to me and you have told me many different things. You have told me that my father is blind, our father is in Canaan, our father is a Nabi, and we had 12 brothers and one brother went missing, and that's why our father does not send the other brother. So I've listened to all of these things. Now it is impossible for me to tell you to bring your father because he's old and weak. It's impossible for me to verify that your father is a Nabi. But the one thing we can verify is what? Is that you have a brother or not? That is with your father. If you bring that brother to me, then that means that everything else you have said is the truth and we will believe you. But if you fail to bring that brother, then doubts will start to erupt. We'll have suspicion on you. That you have said all these things and you can't even bring that one brother. And that means, are you truthful about your father being a Nabi? Are you truthful about your father having lost one of his sons? So Yusuf ﷺ wanted to bring his brother Binyamin. So he used his plan in a way that if you want grains, next time you come, if you want grains, then you have to bring that brother. If you don't bring that brother, then don't even come anywhere near me. Because then we will deem you to be talking falsehood. We will deem you to be liars. And we will not entertain liars. So Yusuf ﷺ told them in a very good way, first encouraging them that bring your brother, Allah tawnannu fil kayl, that if you bring him, look, do you not see that I will give you a full load of grains on his behalf as well? Wa ana khayrul munzilin, and have you not seen how I've hosted you? I have looked after you. I have given you presidential protocols, etc. فَإِن لَمْ تَأْتُونِ بِهِ فَلَا كَيْلَ لَكُمْ عِنْدِي وَلَا تَقْرَبُونَ. Then to warn them, he says, فَإِن لَمْ تَأْتُونِ. However, إِن لَمْ تَأْتُونِ بِهِ, if you do not bring him to me, فَلَا كَيْلَ لَكُمْ عِنْدِي وَلَا تَقْرَبُونَ, then there will be no measure, meaning there will be no grains, there will be no provisions for you. وَلَا تَقْرَبُونَ, and don't even come any close to me. Don't even draw close to me. That if you don't bring your brother, then we will just deem you to be lying and how you have made all these stories up. And some say that when they came, they said to Yusuf ﷺ that, look, there's 10 of us, but in reality we are 11 brothers. So Yusuf said, where's the other brother? So he's with our father and we cannot bring him because our father is very attached to him. And if he was to separate him, he'll be very sad. So please give us a common load on his behalf as well. Give us extra. So the general rule was that whoever comes gets it. If one person comes, he gets one common load. If he brings his son, there'll be 2 common loads. But Yusuf Islam's in his government, the rule was 1 per head. If that person is not there, he does not get it. But because this was a brother, and Yusuf Islam had everything at his disposal, and because the Nabi and he's just, he would have paid that extra common loads from his pocket anyway. So some say that he gave that extra common load of grains, although Binyamin was not here. So he said, look, I'm giving you this common load, although he's not here, and the rule is he has to be here. So now for you to prove that you are saying the truth, next time you have to bring him. And if you don't bring him, then that means that you are saying the lie to us and you took this whole common load of grain for nothing because you didn't have a brother. And if that's the case, and we become sad with you, when a king becomes sad, then don't even draw any close to him. قَالُوا سَنُرَاوِدُ عَنْهُ أَبَاهُ. So they said, قَالُوا سَنُرَاوِدُ. They said, we shall try to persuade. سَنُرَاوِدُ. قَالُوا. They said, سَنُرَاوِدُ. We shall try to persuade Abahu, our father, regarding this. وَإِنَّا لَفَاعِلُونَ. And we will really do so. We will try our best. When we get back to Canaan, and when we see our father, we will tell our father, and we'll try to persuade him to send Binyamin with us. That, oh father, send us. The king has sent a message that bring him with us, and he will give a full common loads of grain for him, and he has hosted us in a very good way. And we will try our utmost best to persuade him, and we will try to bring him. But then the ultimate result and the last say and the final word is in my father's. If he gets persuaded and he sends him, then we'll bring him. But if he says on his words and on his grounds that no, I don't want to send him, then I'm sorry, we will not be able to bring him. But we will try our best. So they gave this promise, they gave these words to Yusuf ﷺ, and they were about to leave. But before they were about to leave, when they give their grains, Yusuf ﷺ's rule was that for every camel load, you have to give certain amount of money or certain amount of gold, silver, coins, jubio. So they had to pay. So they paid. When they paid, and as they were about to leave, Yusuf ﷺ secretly called his attendants, secretly called his servicemen. وَقَالَ لِفِتْيَانِ جَعَلُوا, and he said to him, وَقَالَ, and he said, Yusuf ﷺ said, لِفِتْيَانِ, to his attendants, to his slaves, اجْعَلُوا بِضَاعَةٌ فِي رِحَالِهِمْ, place their bida'a means funds, their capital. اجْعَلُوا بِضَاعَةٌ فِي رِحَالِهِمْ, place their funds back into their camel packs. Place their funds back into their load. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَعْرِفُونَهَا, so that they can recognize it when they return. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَعْرِفُونَهَا, when they return where? Return back to their hometown. إِذَنْ قَلَبُوا إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِمْ, when they return to their families. Why? لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ, so that they may come back. So Yusuf ﷺ called his attendants, and the general rule of taking the money and whatever they gave, the gold, silver, jewelry, money, what it was, Yusuf ﷺ told them, his attendants, that whatever they have paid the funds, in such a discreet manner, hide it and place it back into their camels. So on the way, right now, on the way, they will not realize whatsoever until they go home. When they go home, they will open their packs, they will open to see what they have been given, they will open it to show their father, Abba, look what we have bought, what we have bought, what we have got for you. And whilst they do this, they will also come across this bag of their funds, that look, even this has been returned. Now the question is, why would Yusuf ﷺ want to do this? So Mufassirin said there are three reasons. Number one was Yusuf ﷺ did not befit that how can I take money from my brothers, from my father? I am the king, I am the Amiri, I am the chief I am the chief in command, I am the Aziz Misr. And my father, my brothers, my siblings, they are in a dire need. So how can I take money from them? And nobody would do this. If we were in the same situation, and our brother comes to get something, if you have a shop and he comes to buy something, we'll say, no, don't want to take it. So a Nabi, so now who paid for it? So Yusuf ﷺ must have paid from his own pocket. He was a chief, he was Aziz Misr, so he had only his own wealth. So he must have done a favor, a gift, a hadiyah on his behalf. But he felt, no, how can I take money from my brothers and my father? So this is why he sent the money back. Some Mufassirin say, no, Yusuf ﷺ put the money back because he knew that the family were not in a very good situation. There was poverty. So maybe they must have gathered all this money to come to Egypt the first time to get all these grains. And possibly there's no more money left. So when there's no more money left and they know to get grain from the Aziz Misr, to travel to Egypt and get grains, what do you need? You need money. And if they don't have any money, will they come a second time? And when Yusuf saw his brothers the first time after such a long time, what does every brother naturally feel? What does he want inside him? He wants to keep meeting his brothers over and over again. So he did not want to close these doors. So he thought, if I take this money, that means that when they go home, they will have no money, so they will not come back again. So I will not be able to see my brothers for a very long time now until they maybe accumulate some more money. So he thought, no, let me give this money back. So when they go home and they will open the grains and they will see that the money has been returned, then they will say to the father, let's go again, look, we've got money. Don't worry, we've got money, let's go and buy some more. So they will come a second time. So to give them this rope to bring them back, he put the money. And some say that no. Yusuf was very wise. And he knew that when he put this money back into the camels, into the load, and when they will go home, and they will open the money, they will open the goods, and the money will come out, then who was Yaqub sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He was a great Nabi of Allah azza wa jalla. So as soon as he sees this money, what will he say? He will say to his sons, okay, this is not our money. You are not the rightful owners. This is the money of the Egyptian treasury. You are meant to pay them. By mistake, it looks like when they were loading your goods, they must have put it in by mistake. This is not our wealth. We cannot use it, we cannot spend it. Go back and give it back. Every trustworthy, honest person, that's what they do. Even at home, sometimes you see that a child goes to a shop and they're doing shopping, and somehow the child picks up a toy and they walk out of the shopping center. And the mother says, where did you get this from? We didn't even pay for it. So they won't come. If they have this fear of Allah in their hearts, even if it's a pound, they will go back to a shop and they say, our child picked this up, either take it back or we'll pay for it. So how can a Nabi of Allah, such a great person, such a great personality, how can he say, tell her it's okay? No, he knew that my father, as soon as he sees this money, he'll become uncomfortable. And he will say to his sons, go back and go and give this money back to Aziz and Misr. This is their money. This is their right. We are not the rightful owners. And when they will do this, what will happen? The brother will come back again, and I will get some more time to sit with them. So Mufassirin said these were 3 reasons why Yusuf ﷺ told his attendants that وَقَالِ لِلْفِتْيَانِ اجْعَلُوا بِضَاعَتُهُمْ, that he said to his attendants, اجْعَلُوا بِضَاعَتُهُمْ, that put their funds, put their money, their gold, silver, whatever they are paid, فِي رِحَالٍ, back into their packs, لَعَلُّمْ يَعْرِفُونَ, so that they will recognize it when they will return to their households, لَعَلُّمْ يَرْجِعُونَ, so that they may come back to me. And the last thing is that the question that arises in people's minds is that Yusuf was such a great Nabi, and he had been away from home for years. Some say it had been 40 years. Since he had been thrown into the well and the brothers have met him, it's been 40 years. And he knew that his father was in such a great sorrow, sadness, grief. He's crying all the time. He cried so much that he's lost eyesight. So the question that comes in mind is that how come such a great Nabi, how come he's not telling his father that where he is? So when he was put in the well, it's impossible for him to send a message. Then he was taken by the caravan to Egypt. Again, it's impossible for him to tell while he's in the caravan. But then he was in the Aziz Misr's house. He had all liberties there. And they would look after him. And if you'd have told him that, look, I'm not a slave. I've been made a slave. I'm a free man. And my father is in Canaan. And can you somehow send a message to my father that I am here, I'm safe and well. Whether I come or not, at least let him know I'm safe and well. Every father has pain, grief for their parents. We don't realize it's only when you become fathers that you realize. Until when you are teenagers, it's become such that we have become very selfish, and we are not too mindful about other people's emotions and other people's feelings, and we do such things out of stupidity, out of negligence, and we don't care about what's happening. Maybe my parents might not be sleeping at night because of me. These certain things I do, my parents might not be sleeping, but it's a very selfish world now, and nobody is too bothered as long as they get their happiness and they can fulfill their passions. They are happy to carry on doing it. Whether my father can sleep at night, whether my mom is crying all night, so what? I need to fulfill it's my life. But this was not the case years ago. People had some emotions, some feelings, some sensitivity. And this is a sad thing. Nowadays, there's no sensitivity left. No one's sensitive about this. But wait a minute, these are my parents. They brought me up. They spent so much behind me, so much time, so much energy, so much effort, so much nurturing behind me. They put everything to a side. They've gathered the tears on one side. They've been through so many painful journeys. They've sacrificed so much for me. And now when it's our time to pay back, it's totally zero. We're not bothered. And this is a very sad situation. This is not a thing that a believer should be doing, a mu'min should be doing. So anyway, the question arises that how come Yusuf did not pass a message on to his father? His father is paining them. And then he might have some limitations whilst he was in the palace or as a servant of the king. But now he's the chief minister. He's a Misr. Now if he wants, he can actually take a journey to Canaan. He can go on entourage with his entourage all the way to Canaan and tell his father, Abba, I'm here, I'm happy. Or if not, at least he can send a messenger and send a message. How come he still didn't do it? So ulama say the simple answer is that you can't imagine any human, any normal person, knowing that his father is in pain and he has all the capacity and all the capability to eliminate that pain, not to do it. Any person, no matter how notorious he is, when he comes on to parents, if he sees that he can get rid of pain, he has the ability to get rid of pain from his father or mother, he will go down anything and do it for him. So why did Yusuf not do it? And ulama say the answer is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to bestow and bless Yaqub with the highest levels and the highest stages. And he was going to get through this through sabr. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala either divinely told Yusuf through wahi that do not expose or do not inform your father about your whereabouts until we tell you. Because your father, the more sabr he does, we have fixed a space for him, a level for him, a stage for him, a rank for him. And we need him to reach that. And he will reach this through sabr. So that's why Yusuf, because he was told by Allah and Nabi, and we as well, we are always tied down and bound down to the commands of Allah. So our Nabi is bound to the commands of Allah. So when Allah has divinely told him that make sure you don't let your father know. Halaki, his brothers were here, he could have sent a message with his brother, he could have sent a letter with his brothers that passes on to your father. But he did not do it because it looks like Allah must have told him that don't disclose anything until the day comes, the right day comes, and we will tell you to disclose it. And when you look at it, when the brothers came from the forest and they said to Yaqub salam that Yusuf has been eaten by a wolf, then Yaqub salam straight said that this is a story you've made up. So if it's a normal person, what do you have done? You have told his sons, okay, has he been eaten by a wolf? Okay, show me. Whereabouts in the forest? Let me see him, take me. Did Yaqub say that? Yaqub realized that this is a test from Allah. That's it. Now it's time for me to do sabr. Or number two, at that moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him forget. And he did not inquire that take me to a place. And some say maybe Yusuf was also made to forget, to tell his father. That's why sometimes you do something and then you say, oh, I totally forgot to text my father. I totally forgot to ring him. So maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made such circumstances that Yusuf totally forgot to tell his father. But whatever the case was, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not want Yaqub to know. At that moment, he wanted to keep that for a later moment so that Yaqub can complete his test of sabr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the rewards for everything. There's a number reward, fixed reward. For namaz, you pay Jamaat 27 times more reward. For Hajj, this reward. For Zakat, this reward. For Sawm, this reward. But two things. One is sabr and one is fasting. As-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bi. Allah subhanahu says that whoever fasts, the fasting is for me. I will give the reward. And for sabr, innama yuwaffa as-sabiruna ajrahum bighayri hisab. For sabr, Allah subhanahu does not fix any criteria. And Allah subhanahu wants to give, He will give so much that there is no limit. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us understanding. And inshallah next week we will continue tafsir of the Surah Yusuf, this dars after Salatul Maghrib inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the correct understanding. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah wa bihamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.